Right, this is a road test for a Toyota Land Cruiser. Get there in the end. This is the 3-litre diesel, and it's the LC5 top of the range car. Car's registered YA05BNU, and mileage at the start of this brief road test is 106,138 miles. The reason we do these road tests is basically that we're now selling cars to all over the near continent and the extremes of the UK, and we just basically want people to see the cars they're potentially interested in buying actually in operation, just to give you a bit of encouragement or confidence to come and see us. And what I try and do in these road tests is also just to do it in kind of the same way as you do it yourself, and on exactly the same roads just outside our premises, lovely quiet country roads where you'll be driving the car yourself, so it should be very representative of what you will feel as well. I always start, I kind of do it in order for you, or in a order rather, and starting with the engine. This 3-litre diesel is a really great unit, quite old-fashioned, which I love, and this starts absolutely first turn of the key, pulls really well. It's a strong engine. And on the move they're very smooth and quiet. If you get more vocal, obviously the harder you rev them, but even then it doesn't offend the ears. And as I said, as an example of one, I can't really fault the engine. It's got all the power there that you'd expect to feel. It's instant. There's no strange noises or vibrations or anything coming from it at all. It then drives through a really good gearbox, typical Toyota gearbox, very slick in operation, lovely smooth gear shifts. They feel very tight, very much as it was when much younger and lower mileage, and they do take their mileages extremely well, they really do. So engine, gearbox, I can't fault them. Also worth pointing out, there's no warning lights on the dashboard at all relating to engine, gearbox or anything else. The car rides on air suspension, and again, this drives exactly as I'd expect it to. They're very smooth riding, apart from the worst surfaces. Hold on. It's a very comfortable car to drive over distance, and obviously because this LC5 has air suspension, it's a very popular car for towing, because obviously it maintains its the suspension maintains its level regardless of what loads on the back, and it also gives you 3 settings. You've got a high setting if you're going over some sort of rocky terrain to sort of raise the ground clearance underneath the car. You can also lower it down to make entrance easier to get in and out of the car, but also when hitching up to something, to make it easier to hitch up and to have the tow bar, ball height rather, in the best position. Steering of the car tracks bullet straight. I can't feel any vibrations coming back to the steering wheel at all. Steering doesn't exhibit any play of any note at all. It feels very tight indeed underneath, to be perfectly honest. They belie their size. They're a lovely drive. It said it is old school, and I love them for that. So you get a real sense of occasion driving the car, but that's not an excuse for it being uncomfortable or noisy, because it isn't. It's a very smooth, very nice drive. Brakes on the car nice and powerful. There's no strange kind of wind noises coming into the vehicle that shouldn't be there, which suggests that kind of sort of sunroof and everything's all in very good order, and the windscreen's all fitted and sealed very well indeed. Looking inside the car, very nicely finished off inside. Obviously it's a full leather interior. LC5 is at top of the range, so you're getting all the goodies. But what I love about it is the fact that all the switchgear is just so solid and well done. They really are the envy of other manufacturers. Sat-nav system, as hopefully you can see, is fully operational. Every switch I've pressed thus far has worked exactly as it should. I've not pressed anything that hasn't worked right. But it's all nice, simple, easy, very high quality switches. Down there you've got obviously heated seat switches there, and diff lock button and little power outlet. And then you've got these sort of kind of like a hill descent system, I'm guessing DAC. You've also got a switch, which means you can adjust the damper settings on the air suspension, and that basically sort of stiffens up the ride on sports, which you've got on now. Or if I want, I'll just click that round and go for a more squidgy soft ride, and that's gone down more to sort of comfort. And then you've got your ride height switch there as well. Coming over to the main binnacle, obviously classic Toyota fare really. You've got two big dominating dials. Every gauge works absolutely perfectly. Odometer pixelation's perfect. High, low and neutral switch there for or gauge for the suspension's all good and intact. Temperature gauge, given that this car's literally just driven about 150 miles to us from the garage where we bought it, it's running at just under half on the temperature gauge, which is exactly where these should be on the Toyota Land Cruisers. But it drives really, really well. When you compare this to, you know, some of its competitors, you know, the only true competitor it's got is Land Rover, to be fair. You know, if you want, you know, capability off-road, but unlike Land Rover, you've got a seriously high quality product. You know, it's Land Rover, I've got a really soft spot for them, but unfortunately they are they suffer from terrible reliability, whereas the absolute opposite is true of the Land Cruiser. You know, any faults or otherwise are generally very simple and small, and most will be not faults at all. They'll just be wear and tear, things like sort of tyres, batteries, bulbs, you know, brake pads and that kind of stuff. You know, things that even Toyotas have to wear out. But you know, you can dismiss, you know, it's kind of the German stuff, the X5s and the MLs that don't compare to these in any sense. You know, build quality, longevity, or capability off road, because that's where the Land Cruiser absolutely hammers them. It's a really lovely truck. And I know it's only a brief drive, but you know, you said I just want you to see it in operation. But it's, you know, it does drive very, very nicely indeed. You know, I have to give, you know, respect the fact that it has done 100,000 miles, but you know, compared to most cars that have done 100,000 miles, it's very, very tight indeed. Gear changes are smooth, engine's smooth. It's just it's a really, really nice thing to drive around in. Clearly, obviously, if I've missed anything out on the test drive, then don't hesitate. Do give us a call, and you know, we'd be more than happy to help you. But based on what I've driven, I'd say I can't really fault the car in terms of the drive of the vehicle at all.